You are now listening to The World Within. The World Within. With your hosts, Christian and Ethan.
Hey, welcome to the World Within podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Christian.
I'm Ethan, and last episode we were live.
We were.
Video and audio, and now we're live video and audio again.
And we made some improvements.
We have a mic.
We have a mic. We have a Zoom recorder. Our audio is going to be so much better and live at the same time, so everyone can hear us good. Because, our last episode, it was a good topic and everything. Mm-hmm. I just feel like the audio was a little off.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got the mic, we got the Zoom. We are set now. So
one thing that's the same is the merch.
The merch is the same.
Yeah, and you can get all this merch at our Patreon. If you just do patreon.com/theworldwithin. You can get some shirts, you can get some stickers, you can get some shout outs.
The stickers are cool, the shirts are cool, shout outs are cool. You know, just
you're cool.
You are cool. You would be honestly probably one of the coolest if you do it. So, and it goes to bettering the podcast.
Yeah, so we can get better stuff like a better mic and a Zoom and all this stuff.
Yeah, so thank you guys for all your support. Also, like even just an Apple Podcast review, just listening to us commenting on
even
YouTube.
A view on YouTube.
Yeah, any of that stuff helps. So thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure. And so if you ever want to stay up to date on anything new that's happening on the podcast, just give one of our social medias a follow. We have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. All the goodies.
All the goodies. We even have Snapchat.
We even have a Snapchat.
It's The World Within 0. So Snapchat us. Send us some goofy pictures. Mm-hmm. Please no penises. I don't want any penis pictures. I can't speak for you.
There's some Medea filters now. You hit your face and then you go over one. It's like a Medea.
Yikes.
I like the Medea movies.
I would rather a penis picture than a Medea filter. So
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Medea's hilarious.
Oh, it's all right. But once again, just thank you guys. We have a really fun topic.
A mind-blowing topic.
We're going a little mainstream this episode.
We're going We're becoming normies here.
We're normies. So we're talking about the JFK Assassination.
Who's that?
I don't know. I think it was like the president or something.
Probably.
Something like that. So, November 22nd, 1963, John Fitzgerald Kennedy was publicly assassinated while sitting in his motorcade in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, so he was struck by 2 bullets. One of them was a fatal headshot.
That'll do it. Yeah.
You think someone from the sky screamed out "headshot" when it happened?
No, I don't think so. But I think Lee Harvey Oswald got some like bonus points.
You think he did like a fist bump?
I think he did a miniature dance. Probably.
He has to be a little excited. He did what he wanted to do.
Yeah,
that's a pretty big thing that he did. Too.
Yeah, he achieved it, or did he? Or was Lee Harvey Oswald?
Or was it aliens? There's no aliens here.
There are no aliens with this one. It could be. But, so Governor John B. Connally Jr. was also in the motorcade with Kennedy, and he was struck by one of the bullets, and he survived the shot.
Yeah, so we'll go into that whole situation a little more here in a second. But, so this was all caught on Abraham Zapruder. As some of you might know,
Mr. Zapp.
He also he was there historically. He's always going to be in history now.
Yeah.
But at least he'd have to kill the president to be in history.
That's
forever.
True. Yeah.
He just had to film the president being murdered.
Which I've never. I think I've heard the Zapruder film.
Oh, the Zapruder film's huge.
But I've never kind of correlated it with Abraham Zapruder.
Oh, you don't know Abraham Zapruder?
I will say that
old Abe.
That is a cool name. The Zap.
Zap. I actually knew a guy named Zap, but he was Mexican, and I don't think he was.
Zap
I don't think he has any relation
from Futurama.
Not the. No. Negative. But anyways, so he was huge because he did it in an 8mm film camera. He was recording it. And that was big because it would allow people to investigate it frame by frame. So
Right.
like you could really dissect everything and really go into certain scenes of it. And so the shooting, it occurred from the 6th floor window at the southeast corner of the Texas School Book Depository building. And so some of you may know that's also where the Lee Harvey Oswald worked.
That's a good job. I'm sure.
We're gonna hire anyone.
Well,
This guy hated America openly. Was an open communist. In the 1960s, that's like the worst thing he could be.
He would have had a killing here in the 2000s era, just ranting on Facebook.
He'd be hailed as a hero.
Yeah, honestly.
But that's all right. So everyone knows Lee Harvey Oswald. You know, he's the one that everyone can pretty much almost agree that he was the one. He had something to do with, at least,
correct,
the assassination of JFK. But he also, did you know why he is not alive anymore?
I will go into that. Lee Harvey Oswald was killed 2 days later by a man named Jack Ruby at the Dallas police station, and the shooting was filmed live broadcast on TV for everyone to watch.
Well, the news we were recording, they were like showing him because it's a huge thing, him being in custody, and then out of nowhere, Jack Ruby, the man, the myth, the legend, comes up and just kills him right there.
Pow, pow. Which I find it. The crazy thing about this is both deaths in this situation were public.
Right.
It never was like behind the scenes or anything. It was boom. We got this on film. It's recorded. It's on live TV. I mean, that's pretty big in this.
Yeah. I mean,
because I think like if it is a cover up, then it's hard to dispute the evidence right there. Boom, boom. They're filmed on both of them.
Well, when you assassinate the president, the news is going to be
on top of it.
Recording you 24/7, pretty much.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking
literally the biggest thing that's happened in the world.
We're talking the 60s, 1963, though. So that's, I mean, we're not as advanced.
You think Dallas news didn't exist in 1960s?
Well, no, but I mean, camera development wasn't as big.
TVs were a thing in the 1960s.
Okay.
People were watching the nightly news that JFK was just assassinated. Anyways, it's fine. You can believe whatever you want. I'm not gonna be the theory police here.
Yeah, I mean this guy.
But I think I mean, why wouldn't they be doing that for the news?
He's a doubter.
I think it was aliens. Anyways, so many people they criticize the route.
It's route.
They criticized it because it had a lot of turns, like weird little turns, and then would like slow down the way the motorcade would be traveling through Dallas, and it was by the Secret Service agents it was chosen by, which I didn't know the Secret Service chose the route that the president would go on. I know they like control the president, but like I didn't know that they were like that.
Well, I don't know. Control the president.
Well, I mean, like they control his security at all times.
Yeah, they choose. I mean, who else did you think would do it?
The president.
He chooses where he wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he does, and to some extent.
Well, I mean, if the Secret Service did a good job at this, then none of this would have happened.
Yeah, so
at the end of the day,
we can go into the Secret Service being amazing.
Yeah.
So they the Secret Service agents Winston G. Lawson and Forrest V. Sorrells. They were the one who chose this route, and so they also before this whole motorcade, went through Dallas, and they sent out some Secret Service agents. They're like, just make sure everything's safe, just make sure make sure the president won't be assassinated on this. This is kind of your job,
right?
So these Secret Service agents go out there, and they're like, man, this is a terrible route. There's over 20,000 windows overlooking this route that anyone could be in, ready to kill the president. And they're like, well, maybe we should go, make sure that there's no one already set up with maybe a tripod already in one of these with a sniper rifle or anything. Right. And so they're like, no, there's 20,000 of them. We're just not going to do anything.
Yeah.
They literally look in none of the windows. They do no precaution or anything. They kind of just were like, whatever.
20,000 is a big number. So I get that. You know, I never got what exact day it was, but it was probably like a Monday. And he's like, you know, I don't want to check 20,000 windows. I think we're good. It's Dallas, Texas. We're good.
Yeah, except
he wasn't good. Except he wasn't good.
Except it's literally your job.
It's literally your job. Yeah.
What else are you doing that day? What is more important than making sure the president doesn't get assassinated?
Right. And they felt hardcore.
But you know.
Yeah. 1 week later, newly sworn in president Lyndon B. Johnson. He created the commission to investigate the circumstances of JFK's assassination and the killing of Lee Harvey Oswald. This was led by Supreme Court Justice Earl Warren and staffed with other esteemed officials.
Yeah, and so the Warren Commission, everyone kind of knows, like it's the government conspiracy theorists.
Right.
Really, that's kind of what it was. But like,
check every angle, pretty much.
Yeah, except
they did.
This is like the Warren Commission. Everyone kind of points to is like. You made a conspiracy that says that is just this one guy.
Right.
And you had nothing to do with it.
Pretty much saying that there's no conspiracy.
Right.
Right.
So it's like, it's not really...
doing anything. Yeah, so the official findings of the commission believes that there was only one shooter, and that shooter was Lee Harvey Oswald. No other conspiracy, blank, period, end of the day, you know? Right,
it was a sole shooter with no other motive.
And so let's go into Lee Harvey Oswald's life here. He'd been to Russia in 1959. So, and this was during the Cold War, you know.
Not a place you want to be during the Cold War.
No. You're going to hop back and forth. And so he tried to renounce his American citizenship. He wanted to live in Russia. Like, that was his big thing. He hated America. He loved communism. He loved everything about all that. And so looking into his life, I guess he had a huge history of violence in his younger days. He chased his younger brother, his half-brother, with a knife.
Who doesn't?
I think I chased you with a knife.
Is it worse than the Tylenol murderer guy who chased his mother with an axe?
I think yes. I think if you chase your half-brother...
a knife is worse than an axe?
Yeah, because a knife...
You're not supposed to run with knives.
A knife, yeah, exactly. You're breaking two rules. If there's no rule saying you can't run with an axe. It's not in the rule book, of life.
Yeah, because, if you fall... Because, it's kind of like when you're running with a knife, you don't want to run and then fall and then you stab yourself.
Right.
If you're running with an axe, you're just going to stab the ground.
Yeah.
If you're running with an axe this way, facing you...
Well, I think you could run with an axe and then trip and have the axe, hit your forehead, and that wouldn't end very pretty.
Yeah, if it's facing you, but who holds an axe when it's facing you?
We're talking about Lee Harvey Oswald. He
has a knife. Lee Harvey Oswald's the knife.
You're right.
Man.
Whatever. The Tylenol murder. You should check that. You should check that episode out. That's our first episode. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. So Lee Harvey Oswald, he has a bit of a violence, but so he decides, hey, what else to do with my violent life than join the Marines?
Join the Marines. He's smart. That's smart.
Yeah, he probably was a terrible student. They're like, hey, you want to join the Marines? He's like, sure.
He's like, yep.
So he joined the Marines. He served 3 years, and he became qualified as a sharpshooter with the M1 rifle. So he's a sharpshooter in the Marines. That's
saying something.
That's something there.
So we know he's good with a rifle.
He can handle himself with a rifle.
He fits the profile of a guy that has good accuracy with three shots.
Yeah, for sure. Especially because that was early.
Mm-hmm.
That was when he was in the Marines. And then he has all this life after the Marines. All the time he spent in Russia, where he could be trained by the Russians who knew that he hated America.
Some KGB action going on.
Yeah. The Russians and their... Lee Harvey Oswald is probably open for anything.
Right.
At this point.
And this worked out for him because he already lived in Dallas, Texas at the time. And get this. So the Secret Service dropped the ball here, right? Not only that, but the FBI dropped the ball. So the FBI was already surveillancing this guy.
Yeah,
they were already
monitoring him.
Yeah, they were already looking at him. They knew he was a menace, to society. But FBI didn't warn the Secret Service about Oswald living in Dallas.
Yeah, and they didn't warn him. They didn't warn the Secret Service at all, which is weird because he worked at a building that was literally right on the route. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But to the FBI's defense, the Secret Service didn't tell the FBI about the route. So.
Well, I mean, I don't blame the Secret Service for that one because the less people that know about the route, the better, probably.
Yeah.
Moles and this was like the rise of the mob era, so there was a lot of moles within all these agencies.
Yeah, but you feel like you want to share information that
can help you out.
Because literally, if all they did would be like, "Hey, can you check this building, this building, this building?"
Right, they were under
information.
Yeah,
any information about. I mean, you didn't check the windows. At least get someone to.
Yeah, at least
check
get
the employees.
Do it. Yeah, exactly.
Because if they would have just talked to him, the FBI would be like, "Hey, this Lee Harvey Oswald guy already is. We'll get into this. Lee Harvey Oswald. This wasn't his first assassination attempt. Wasn't JFK. So he had tried to assassinate Major. It was let me get it here. It was Major General Edwin A. Walker on April 10th, 1963. So this wasn't his first attempt.
Right, and it says...
I think the FBI could tell the Secret Service that this guy is an assassin.
Right, he's literally trying to... Yeah, this was shortly before. And the Warren Commission did mention that, saying that Oswald had attempted to kill Major General Edwin Walker April 10, 1963, thereby demonstrating his disposition to take human life. He was a menace to society.
Yeah, so, he was... He was a killer. He didn't...
Yeah, he didn't
was
care
capable
who he was
of doing this. It's not something that he wasn't capable of doing.
Right, exactly.
That was never in question, really.
Right, so in the Warren Commission, they also said what rifle he used. It was the Mannlicher? Mannlicher? I don't know how to say it. I like Mannlicher. I don't like Mannlicher, but...
I think it's pronounced Mannlicher.
Yeah, Mannlicher Carcano 6.5 millimeter Italian rifle.
Communist rifle.
That's what he shot. That is a communist rifle.
It's a communist rifle.
So they basically knew what firearm he used because they referenced Governor Conley's on his stretcher. They found a bullet that was
fully intact, which is interesting because we'll get into that.
We will get into that. That is the magic bullet. And 2 other bullet fragments in the car that matched his rifle. This was his,
Right. And if you didn't think Oswald, could do this, he also killed a Dallas police officer when he was fleeing from the scene. He killed him about 45 minutes after the assassination when he was running, and there wasn't any question that he was you don't murder someone and then. He already murdered someone the day that we know he did.
That it's already proven, yeah.
Right.
And this was proven via eyewitness accounts, and the revolver casings matched the revolver that they found on Lee Harvey Oswald.
And he was probably just whatever.
Yeah, he's whatever. I killed the president.
Just killed JFK.
Yeah, why are you talking about this police officer? Exactly.
The commission they came to the conclusion that no evidence that Oswald was involved with any person or group in a conspiracy to assassinate the president. That's what the Warren, the U.S. government came to the conclusion of that.
And
it was a sole shooter.
Yeah, and we'll get into the Warren Commission a lot here because there's some shitty stuff going on with it.
So should I just get into the magic bullet theory here? This is the big one. This is what hinges on pretty much everything in the JFK theories.
Yeah, let's do this.
So the magic bullet theory, there was 3 bullets that were fired from Lee Harvey Oswald's rifle. So they say the first bullet it missed. So he shot and he missed. And if I was Lee Harvey Oswald, I'd be shitting bricks. Shot and missed.
Yeah, right.
But he kept it cool, and then he shot the second bullet, and that they say hit JFK in the back of the neck, and then it would have exited and hit Governor Connolly's in the back shoulder, and then that came out of his right under his nipple, and then his arm was like sitting underneath his nipple, and it entered into his wrist, and then it turned to go into his thigh.
All right, so let's use this. Sorry, that got probably loud for a second there. Sorry
for anyone who's just listening on like Spotify, but this is kind of visual.
Yes, this is a visual. We have a $50 here with JFK's head. His head is not exploded on this.
It's not.
So you be the bullet here, and you be JFK, and I'll be the governor here.
So the second bullet. So JFK. So the magic bullet theory. It's big because you have to take in. So JFK, he was seated higher in the motorcade.
Okay, so
he was kind of higher up because he was, the president, so everyone wanted to see him, not the governor.
Yeah, who cares?
So he got shot. Let me make sure I get this right here. He got shot, and the second bullet, the magic bullet, hits JFK through the neck on the left side, and it would enter into the back of Governor Connolly.
Okay,
and it would then exit right under the nipple. So it goes through the body, under the nipple here, but his right wrist was sitting like this.
Probably
and then
texting.
It entered. I don't think he was texting, but maybe. And then it entered into his wrist, and which his wrist was like right here, and then it exited into his thigh, and that's where it landed. Into his thigh.
So that's going through quite a bit.
And ricocheting quite a bit through Governor Connolly. Maybe he's just a very ricochet guy.
Yet when they found the bullet, it was like fully intact.
Yeah, the bullet that they believe was the magic bullet, which I don't think could possibly be.
There's no way.
But it would have to be, because it can't be the bullet that blew JFK's head off, because that's too much impact. And
that's the bullet in the skull, right?
And if he shot 3 times, it's very confusing. This is like the biggest thing.
Well,
because it could be possible, I believe.
But to stay fully intact, it went through his back, so it had to have hit like his shoulder blade. But let's just say it didn't. Let's just say it got hit the perfect spot. And then, dude, this is like all ribs right here. It would have literally had to have been the most perfect thing ever.
And he survived it, so like it couldn't have hit like his lungs or like his heart or anything. Like
right, it would have had to have ricocheted off of a rib or something. This is... Let us know in the comments, guys. Because I am curious what everyone thinks about.
So this is like huge because they believe that the bullet was the one in the stretcher, but like that's almost impossible. But so the computer renderings recently have shown like that it is kind of the bullet traveling can be possible when JFK is higher in the seating. Just by like, I'm not sure exactly how, but like just the trajectory of the bullet could be possible. Which is but the bullet, shaky. But like what they say is the bullet couldn't be intact like that if it could do that.
Right.
So it's it's all right, but this is like the magic bullet theory. It calls in question the sole shooter because if it is. All the Warren Commission kind of hinges on this theory that the magic bullet is real, because if it's not real, then there has to be a second shooter.
Right.
Because it's literally impossible for that to happen. Which is crazy because if you examine the Zapruder film, shout out to Abraham, there was not enough time for Lee Harvey Oswald to fire 2 shots within the time span that the first bullet hit JFK.
Okay.
And Governor Connolly. So the first shot that hit JFK, like the magic bullet, the first one that hit, there wouldn't be enough time for him to shoot 2 more times. There would only be enough time to shoot 1 more time before the headshot.
Okay. Yeah, because there's so much to do. We actually looked up the footage on this gun. You have to you're aiming down sight, and you have to get the bullet out and then get the other bullet loaded in, pretty much just boom boom, like that kind of action. And that takes some time. Not a lot of time. He
was just super lucky, and he was just no scoping these. He was just going.
Yeah, but the car was driving at the same time, and it was probably
just lucky.
It could be luck, but when it comes to the assassination,
the car itself was bulletproof, I believe, right?
I'm sure the Lincoln Continental.
The Lincoln Continental was bulletproof. So what if the magic bullet just was ricocheting through the car? like in Star Wars where they're in the trash compactor and they shoot the blaster and it goes everywhere. Maybe that's what it's like.
Maybe that there is potential there. But talking about a second shooter, supposedly there was footage from a different angle of the JFK assassination. It was different. It was a different angle from the Zapruder film here, and this footage reportedly is now the infamous grassy knoll. I'm sure everyone's heard of the grassy knoll. People who have seen the footage of the grassy knoll here, they saw puffs of smoke or a second shooter in the grassy knoll. And you know where that film is, Ethan?
No one knows.
No one freaking knows.
Which is, I mean, in anything where so this is another episode, but like Amelia Earhart, there's always someone in like these big mysteries that is just so stupid.
Right, and this is a full committee. Here, let me keep going into it. So, Cynthia Nix Jackson, the granddaughter of the person who filmed the grassy knoll here, she sued the U.S. government in 2015 for $10 million.
Which isn't really that much money.
I mean, yeah, if I filmed like the biggest conspiracy.
How much money do you think those Zapruders had?
Honestly. And she just wanted the return of the film. She was suing for the return of the film. And apparently this hasn't been seen since the Select House on Assassinations in 1978.
Like, where could it be?
Yeah.
You don't misplace this.
Right. That's literally... It's just unfathomable to me.
You know how like protective they are of like the Avengers movie film?
Yeah.
I guarantee they were that protective of this, but like 1 million times more. Because this is so huge. Like you can't this isn't something you just lose. It leads my bad, I accidentally put my coffee on. I spilled my coffee all over this film.
Yeah, maybe it was the intern. He accidentally spilled the coffee and he throws it out real quick.
Everyone looks at him.
Yeah. Throws it out real quick. Oh, we lost it. We don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, no, this is just, blatant lying.
Yeah, it's a cover-up of somehow. And so the House of Select Committee on Assassinations was formed in 1976, and this is fascinating, to conduct the investigation of the assassinations of JFK and Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, because these happened like right next to each other.
Right. And so they formed that, and so here's this. They confirmed that the CIA had purposely withheld information from the Warren Commission investigation.
Come on, CIA. Can't
so
be doing that.
they pretty much called out the CIA. They're like, yo, it's confirmed. You're hiding shit.
Which is ballsy.
I mean, yeah, that's really ballsy.
To call up the CIA, you have to be pretty powerful.
And so the confirmation was the information that included the plot to assassinate Fidel Castro, which I understand why they wouldn't have wanted to release that then. The height of the Cold War and everything. You don't want to just put,
Russia, we're trying to assassinate one of your best friends.
Hey, by the way, so...
Which, Russia knew.
Yeah, they knew.
When the Bay of Pigs invasion happened, there wasn't any hiding that we weren't involved.
That's the whole thing with the Cold War. It was like, let's just kind of play ignorant. Like, both sides were
Russia used the Viet Cong to fight us.
There's so much there. And
it's literally just you using another country as your little toy.
Right.
Soldier.
And so
the Cold War.
The House, I'm just going to call them the HSCA. The House Senate. HSCA? The House Senate Committee of Assassination.
Oh, of course, yeah.
They concluded in 1978 that the scientific acoustical evidence established is a high probability that there were two gunmen.
That's the government as well.
Yeah, that's a bold statement. These are literally senators,
This goes completely against what the
Warren Commission said. So yeah, that's big. And they're saying high they're not saying, oh, there's a chance.
My favorite part of that is that they say that there was a second gunman, but they said that they don't have any idea who he is, and they don't know if there's a conspiracy.
Yeah, here, I have a direct quote from them. They said, "The committee believes, on the basis of evidence available, that President JFK was probably assassinated as a result of a conspiracy. The committee is unable to identify the other gunmen or the extent of the conspiracy."
Wow.
So basically they said,
Thank you.
We know there's a conspiracy, but we don't know there's a conspiracy.
But we'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, we'll leave that up to you. We don't really know. So
Yeah.
So from there, let's go into the theories here.
All right. So I got a good theory here.
All right, let's hear it.
So there's a theory here that the Russians were the ones behind JFK's assassination.
Makes sense. Cold War.
So, it's the Cold War. This is like the height of the Cold War too, like the 1960s. This was like nuclear war was on the front lines every single day. Like people were buying nuclear bunkers because of But so I mean, Lee Harvey Oswald was like the guy that really brings this conspiracy together because, as we already said, he was in Russia for like a period of time that no one really knows. And I believe he actually, I didn't put this in my notes, but I believe he had a Russian wife.
Yep, he did.
Yeah, he had a Russian wife and everything. Like, he had kind of a family in Russia.
A huge tie, yeah.
Yeah, so he was huge for Russia. And so many people believe that he got special, like, KGB training or, like, some kind of training in Russia to go along his already marksmanship level in the Marines.
Right.
So, I mean, this guy's trained well.
Yeah.
This is an assassin.
And he has the insides of the American
he knows
military.
And so, first of all, how is he allowed? Like, this wouldn't fly today.
Right.
Can you imagine, like, we're at war with, like, the Middle East. Can you imagine, like, a Syrian ISIS-trained militant who hates America being allowed to come back to America and just
just hang out.
Just hang out at right where the president's going by?
You're right.
No, like, this is insane how this all just kind of lines up perfectly for Lee Harvey Oswald in this situation. But, so people believe that he got some sort of training in Russia. He kind of knew everything that was happening here. And he was placed there by Russia and all this. And so what's crazy, actually, was that Oswald was he was at a Russian embassy, I think it was 2 weeks before the Kennedy assassination in Mexico City.
Wow. That's huge. I mean, what are you doing in there? So there's obviously
what's a Russian embassy doing in Mexico City?
That's true.
We got something to say, Mexico?
Or Russia. I mean...
Or Russia. Are you getting close? Hey, they were already in Cuba. I mean... Not saying Cubans and Mexicans are the same people, but they're like Latin American, Are
you guys trying to revolt against us in the 70s or the 60s?
We're still today.
I mean, what's going on?
We got our eye on you, Mexico City.
So that's a good theory.
Even though we can't really see them through the smoke and fog and they're
true. So,
do you think someone saw someone who kind of looked like Lee Harvey Oswald through the fog, and they're like, "Oh, is that Lee Harvey Oswald at the Russian embassy?"
What?
It was just some guy.
Yeah, he just knew him somehow.
Yeah. How did Lee Harvey Oswald travel to all these places if he's on an FBI watch list?
Well, not only that, how did he afford it? He must have been really good at saving money.
Well, he was in the Marines. I mean, you kind of save a lot of money when you're in the Marines.
Yeah, but I mean, round trip to Russia, round trip to Mexico City.
They probably paid for it. Russia probably paid for it.
This dude traveled. He's traveled more than me.
That's true.
I'm jealous.
Well, he also assassinated the president. That's something.
That's also something he has on me. So here's my theory here. Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson had JFK assassinated for political gain.
And I mean, that's our thing. That's always,
Yeah, I mean, that's big.
You can't beat him in the elections. Might as well just have him killed out in public for the entire world to see. Make our country extremely weak and fragile and leaderless.
Yeah,
they'll have to go to you.
That's one way. So, so exactly what you said. Before JFK was elected, Lyndon B. Johnson... he was the rival in the 1960 Democratic Convention in LA. It was a big thing, that's politics, And so he ended up being the vice president, and Lyndon B. Johnson asked JFK to continue doing his part of his old job because Lyndon B. Johnson was a Texas senator, and he was saying, I'm kind of bored being vice president. Can I go back to being the Texas senator?
Yeah, because, I mean, at this point, the vice president didn't really do that much. I mean, they did a lot, but they weren't, like, really
big. And
it was kind of more like a celebrity position than a actual, like... Because when he was a majority leader in the Senate,
right,
which is huge.
Right.
Like that's so much more power than being the vice president at the time. But nowadays, like it's changed so much. Mm-hmm. Like especially with like Dick Cheney and all that.
Yeah,
this has all changed so much because now the vice president is huge. It's kind of like level now, but back then you're kind of just hanging out.
Yeah,
at the White House.
Kind of bored, and so that's pretty much proving though that he wanted political power. He wanted more political power too.
Right.
And there were rumors that
total power corrupts. Absolutely,
that's true. There were rumors that Lyndon B. Johnson might be dropped from the re-election ballot too. So that was pretty big too. Why do you think that he would have been dropped? Well, it's believed that Lyndon B. Johnson was losing Texas. I mean, that was the big thing, why JFK wanted him, because Texas is a huge swing state. So it's like, if I can get those electoral college, hell yeah, brother. Yeah. Hop on ship. But it's like...
It's stronger in numbers,
right?
Because they were rivals in the DNC at one point, and then they were like, "Well, we can beat the Republicans.
We can win this,
with this if we work together here."
And then they were kind of going away from Lyndon B. Johnson and all of his policies and everything, so they were losing power, and that's why JFK went to Dallas in the first place, because they wanted to regain that political control. Which that's pretty fascinating.
It was Lyndon B. Johnson who recommended it.
Right, exactly.
Because JFK was upset because Lyndon B. Johnson wasn't doing anything.
Right, and it's actually rumored that they got into a little argument beforehand, before the assassination, over Texas. Like they were kind of beefing with each other, which I would have loved to see that boxing match. Wouldn't you?
JFK wasn't that big. I'm pretty sure Lyndon B. Johnson was a pretty big guy.
He looks big, yeah. But
Lyndon B. Johnson was like,
man. Brawn versus speed. I don't know. JFK, I'd put money on JFK.
Had speed?
Well, I know
he probably had quite a lot of drugs because he was from the mob.
His head wasn't very strong, so I don't know.
Well, he took a bullet to the neck and was still alive.
That's true. He was still kicking,
Still kicking.
But, so, LBJ... He actually was warned by a high-profile Texas lawyer named Byron Skelton, and he said that the political climate in Dallas was not safe, and he feared for the president's safety. But you know what? LBJ said? He didn't tell the president about this. I mean, it's kind of...
Come on, LBJ. You got to tell the president that.
Yeah, you got to tell him.
You're the vice president.
When someone's like, hey, I fear for the safety of the president, you got to just at least mention it,
Yeah, just in passing. Yeah. You're walking by each other in the White House.
Byron Skelton thinks you're going to get killed in Dallas, by the way.
We're going to go to Dallas, but you're probably going to die, but don't worry about that.
But don't worry about that. But the big thing is Byron Skelton actually informed multiple other officials close to JFK, including his brother, Robert Kennedy.
Robert Kennedy also assassinated.
Yeah, that sucks.
Kill me a Kennedy, and that's kind of the moral of the story.
That is the moral of the story.
If your last name's Kennedy, change it. It's not worth it.
So this story gets juicier, and by juicy, I mean a woman gets involved. Dun dun dun. So a woman named Madeline Brown claimed to have an affair with LBJ, and she claimed that she was at a party with LBJ, J. Edgar Hoover, and Richard Nixon. What a party.
The tricky dick. If your tricky dick's at your party, you're having quite a party.
You're having a good time. I mean, I would have a good time at that party, but...
Somebody's breaking in.
Potential
tricky dick.
Potential, conspiracy going on at this party. So the party was the night before the assassination, and she claimed that LBJ whispered in her ear, get this, after tomorrow... those Kennedys will never embarrass me again. That's not a threat. That is a promise.
Why would he say that?
I know.
This doesn't make any sense.
What is the context?
What party is this?
Yeah, did you just go, were you guys just drinking, having a good time, and he just was like...
LBJ just creeping.
You know those Kennedy motherfuckers? axing him tomorrow, bro. Like, just this random hookup chick.
Yeah,
he's just
why is
like,
she here?
I'm gonna tell you my huge
Do you really think
plot.
Tricky Dick, the Hooves, and LBJ really want Madeline Brown at their party?
Yeah,
Who's Madeline Brown?
I mean, yeah.
These guys literally had, like, world-class, like, supermodels going to their parties. They didn't care about Madeline Brown and,
right.
The Dallas local woman.
And the big thing was LBJ was on the Texas Strip, and his movements heavily documented, heavily watched, which means those claims false.
Who would have thunk?
Madeline Brown, fuck you.
Who's Madeline Brown?
Yeah.
Can we track this woman down?
Yeah. Madeline, fuck. Who are you, Madeline?
Why would you even lie about something like that?
Yeah. Clout. No, that's all she wanted. She just she just was trying to be like, yo, I'm at a fucking party with the Hooves.
I honestly think she
probably
probably was just at an impersonation party. Like a Halloween party. It was November.
She was tripping on acid.
Yeah, it was November, She was kind of just like, oh, fuck it. Let's just, it's the 60s.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my god, Lyndon B. Johnson, Richard Nixon, and the Hooves just came into my house. Is this a party right now?
That's probably exactly it.
I guarantee that's it.
So what theory you got here?
All right, so I got a good theory here. So I got that the CIA themselves, so the big CIA was behind the assassination of JFK. So Alan Dulles, the former head of the CIA, that's a title right there.
Yeah, that is a title.
He was a member of the Warren Commission, and which is actually big because, as you know, the CIA withheld information from the Warren Commission.
That is huge.
So Alan Dulles, come on, man. You can't, what are you doing? You can't be on the Warren Commission and then not tell the Warren Commission what you know.
Yeah. Come on.
Do you think everyone was always like asking him questions? He's like, I can't tell you that.
I'm gonna withhold here.
It's like when someone's interviewing someone and then they're like talking about like a new movie that's coming out or something. Like, I can't tell you that. They always just, next question. Next question. Just never answers a question to them. That's probably how it is, actually, working with someone from the CIA.
Yeah, it's probably annoying.
Yeah. So, one theory is that JFK, he may have found out that the CIA had plotted to assassinate Fidel Castro, like, early on. Mm-hmm. And he was afraid, or the CIA, they were afraid that he would try to have, like, maybe a different agenda and, like, try and like expose the CIA or like dismantle the CIA and kind of just like change everything up and fire all the extremely corrupt people in the CIA. Don't kill me, CIA, but please. This is all we're all joking here. These are all jokes.
Yeah, these are all.
If my car explodes in the middle of the night, mysteriously, if I'm found with 2 bullet holes in the back of my head,
suicide. It was
a suicide. I'll go with you, CIA. All right, I'll work with you. Let's have some middle ground here. But anyways, so they thought that he was going to try and do all this stuff, so they decided to assassinate him, which is always
Yeah, that works.
He might fire me. Let me just murder him.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, let's murder the president. Like, come on, that's far-fetched, right? I mean,
just plant some evidence to incriminate him to get him out of office. Don't assassinate him. Come on, guys.
Come on. I mean, you get found out that you plotted to assassinate the president, or actually assassinated the president, the CIA ain't gonna exist anymore.
The CIA is enemy number one now.
Over things that are kind of forgivable actions against this, which wouldn't be forgivable at all.
Yeah, which is, I can understand some. These people the CIA is not great people.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And I'm sure there was probably a lot more going on than just JFK found out that they were trying to do. Maybe JFK found out that the CIA actually was going to assassinate a bunch of people.
Right. Yeah, maybe. It could have been bigger than just Fidel Castro. Right. That's all they were willing to admit.
Yeah, like it was maybe like they were going to, go into Russia and try and assassinate Stalin or all this stuff.
Yeah, there could have been so much. Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, or Gorgavinsky or whatever. Tear down that wall. Gorbachev. That's it. And so, anyways, so that's what one of the theories goes as that they were just going to try and assassinate him because of all this information that he found out. Which you feel like most presidents would know what the CIA was up to a little bit.
Doing, exactly.
But anyways, maybe it was just a Kennedy, who cares? But forensic historian Patrick Nolan, he was the author of CIA Rogues and the Killing of the Kennedys.
Doesn't sound biased at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. But he states that 4 high-level agents not only planned the shooting, but 3 of them fired 4 shots during the assassination. So he says that 3 different CIA agents, like high-level CIA operatives, fired 4 different shots each.
That's a hot take.
That's a lot of shots.
Yeah, people would know.
Yeah, but that sounds more like a war zone.
Right. They could have
That's 12 shots on top of 3.
Trained to shoot at the same time or something. I don't know.
Silencers, super silencers.
Yeah, super silencers. That one's
they have video game silencers, dude.
Yeah, it
doesn't sound. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
come
exactly.
on, Patrick Nolan.
Yeah, 2 first names, really, dude.
Yeah, only if your name's Christopher Nolan, you can pull that off.
True.
But anyways. So that's one of the theories that Patrick Nolan's put out, but it's also thought that the CIA had Oswald carry it out. They had Lee Harvey Oswald,
hired him,
because they knew that he was a known Russian sympathizer and communist, so that kind of feeds into the public's Red Scare that was going on during the time,
and that was huge.
Yeah, and when you have something like that do it, no one's gonna be like, oh, it was us that actually killed him,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
so it's kind of like shifts the blame big time. And so after the Bay of Pigs invasion, the CIA underwent a lot of personnel change under Kennedy, because Kennedy was kind of like, what happened with this Bay of Pigs invasion? What are you guys doing? You messed up big time.
Yeah, it was one of his biggest failures as president.
Yeah, and so he was like, a lot of people are getting fired. A lot of people are getting demoted big time. A lot of people are going to get, the people that I prefer in these roles are going to be promoted and stuff. So a lot of that was happening. So a lot of people were getting like fired. And a lot of people were losing their jobs and power. A lot of people power.
A lot of pissed off people.
The CIA during the Bay of Pigs invasion, as everyone knows, these people in Cuba, they were all losing big time because they were fighting actual military. These guys weren't really trained. They're kind of just like, here's some weapons, now go overthrow Cuba. This major army that's funded by Russians and have Russian tanks and guns and have all this stuff, and they're like, well, we can't do that.
Who would have thought?
And they're like, hey, Kennedy, please, we're all being murdered right now, please send some help. And he's like, nope. And he's like new number, who dis? And they said that the CIA would give them a cover or an umbrella of air support.
Umbrella.
And that
interesting word choice.
This goes perfectly into the Umbrella Man, which some of you may know.
Let's make that transition. Far-fetched.
So, yes, the CIA used the word umbrella, so it has to mean that they are behind the Umbrella Man.
Man.
This man had an umbrella. They said the word umbrella at one point in their history. That's 2 things confirmed. So it's true.
What does an umbrella have? It has a pole and then the umbrella part. That's 2 parts. Two. Boom.
And it kind of looks like a 2 with a hook. And then it comes down and there's a base, which is the umbrella part.
Yep.
2.
I think we just solved this. We can end this.
The CIA is going to come after us now.
Thank you for listening, everyone. We just solved this.
The CIA is going to come with their umbrellas after us. Anyways, so let's get into the Umbrella Man, because why not? The Umbrella Man's always fun. He kind of sounds like a supervillain. Like there's the Polka Dot Man.
I mean, you have to have that with a conspiracy like this. You just
have to have something crazy.
Just some cool ass name, yeah.
So the word umbrella makes some people, as us, it goes into the Umbrella Man. So people believe that Oswald acted with the Umbrella Man, who was actually a secret CIA operative. During the time of the shooting, you can actually see the Umbrella Man. He kind of lifts his umbrella. So he opens it when JFK's car is coming by, and then he lifts it kind of like a foot or so.
Yeah.
In the air, and some people think that that's like him signaling to Lee Harvey Oswald or another shooter that shoot now.
That is interesting how he opened it up as he was coming. That's a little weird.
Yeah, with no context, it's a little weird.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're just looking at it, you're like, oh yeah, this guy's
you're looking at that film.
Yeah,
you're
it's
like, okay,
this guy's kind of
sus. And if you're looking for a conspiracy, that's it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that's very interesting, and especially because a lot of people umbrellas are pretty much for weather.
Yeah.
If it's raining, you're going to use an umbrella, which it wasn't. It was raining the night before, but it wasn't cloudy or anything. It wasn't going to rain. So he was kind of just chilling with the umbrella.
He was thinking ahead.
Yeah, maybe. It could come at any moment.
True.
He would be prepared, and everyone else would look like a fool.
Yep, exactly.
And everyone would be like, oh, Mr. Umbrella Man, can we get under your umbrella? And he's like, no. And then he shoots them with his umbrella gun.
Ooh, an umbrella gun.
But, anyways, so he had it. It wasn't raining. It wasn't anything like that. So some people thought that it was an umbrella gun, they believed that he would either use it as a signal or that when he opened the umbrella, it would shoot darts up and it would hit JFK, but you would think that you would see the darts in the film.
Going exactly.
You'd think you'd see something,
and they were able to go frame by frame. Yeah, no. This would have been a fast dart.
Charles Cincinnati, he was a Department of Defense weapons developer, which that's a title.
Yeah, that is a title. That's a cool job.
That's a nice job. He testified to the Senate that an umbrella-like weapon that could fire darts did in fact exist. And that he had the blueprint and he showed it and everything, and it was like there were darts on the tips of like where the rod would go out on the umbrella. That would when you open it, it would fire like 4 darts, which is kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. But
what would be the practical use for that?
Dude. Yeah.
But I mean, hey,
to maybe assassinate the president.
Maybe. What else would you use that for? That's like
right.
If it's a rainy day and you need to assassinate someone.
This dude knows what he's doing. It's probably for small time assassination, to assassinate Fidel Castro, to assassinate any of these people.
Because they were doing. Exploding cigar kind of sounds crazy if you're just but
exactly.
If they just left that in the lab and they didn't use it or anything. But, because I'm sure this guy's job is literally just to create crazy, secret weapons and stuff like that. So that was, that's a big thing. Okay, this guy just testified that the umbrella weapon does exist and that the CIA would have it and all this stuff. But then, Louis Stephen Witt, he had to come and just, rain on everyone's parade. Ooh. Who didn't have an umbrella.
Oh.
Unlike him, who had an umbrella. And he brought it to him. Brought it to the Senate when he testified. He claimed that
did he shoot everyone with the umbrella?
Yeah, maybe that's how he convinced everyone that he was the umbrella man. He had a psychogenic darts.
Oh, darts. Ooh.
He got everyone super quick before they could notice. Because it shoots 4 or 5 of them.
I mean, it was obviously...
If there was 5...
He was highly trained.
If there was 5 senators, he could shoot the umbrella and then get every single senator in the room if there was only 5 of them.
That'd make a cool action scene.
Yeah.
I would like to watch a movie with that.
Well, how would he get in there with the umbrella is my question. You think they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
you can't just come in here with this umbrella.
We don't know if this umbrella is a gun or not. Don't bring this in.
He brought the umbrella that wasn't the gun that day.
Yeah.
But so Louis Stephen Witt, he came in, he claimed he was the umbrella man on the film. And he claimed it was actually to protest JFK's father because Louis, he claimed he was not a fan of Joseph Kennedy, JFK's father, because Joseph Kennedy he was in favor of appeasement policies. Not a good one.
Dude.
You can't. You can't. What was the line here? Is you can't negotiate with a tiger when your head is in its bloody mouth. That's from one of my favorite World War II movies, The Darkest Hour. That's Winston Churchill says that. It's a good film. Good film. If you haven't seen it, go give it a watch. Should have won Film of the Year, I think. But anyways, So JFK, his father, he was a big appeasement policy guy, and Witt used an umbrella to protest as a reference to Neville Chamberlain, who was the guy who kind of just let Hitler do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Because the UK was kind of... After World War I, the UK was like kind of the ones responsible for... Because they kind of had like... They were the most still kind of strong. Because France was just absolutely destroyed from World War I. And so was Germany and all these countries. And UK was like... You know, they were still industrial revolution kind of, you know, they were pretty good still. I mean, they weren't great, but they were okay.
Right. And
they kind of were in charge of making sure Germany didn't just build another army and go back to war. And they failed miserably because along came a chap named Adolf Hitler, and he's like,
I've known that guy.
We know, listen, Neville. We know we can't have a military, and we know we can't go to war anymore. But what if we just have a military? And then take Poland. And then Neville Chamberlain's like...
Makes sense.
You son of a bitch, I'm in. And he kind of just went with it. And then he went with it when they took Czech, and he, you know, blink of an eye, they had all of Europe.
Yep.
And he's like, wait a minute. But, so, you know, so Louis, he wasn't a fan of, you know, these appeasement policies. And actually, so Tricky Dick, when he was vice president, to Eisenhower, he actually didn't let any of his aides carry umbrellas because he didn't want to be seen to, like, be a part of that appeasement thing. Because I didn't know this, but actually umbrellas are a big thing for, like, protesting appeasement.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so, like, apparently if you ever want to protest someone being a pro-appeasement person, just... show them an umbrella and they'll get terrified.
They'll cower.
They'll literally pee their pants in fear. But, you know, so that was a thing. I didn't know. I mean, I would hate to be one of Tricky Dick's aides in that time.
Yeah.
What if it rains?
Yeah, if it rains, you just have to get poured on.
You gotta be, someone's like, here, take my umbrella. You're like, no, I can't.
No, can't. Sorry.
I can't.
Sorry.
If Tricky Dick sees me, I'm done, though. But, so, that was actually a big thing, and, you know, that's the Louis story. He was the umbrella man. He was just protesting. He wasn't killing anyone. He wasn't firing darts.
It's not as cool as you think.
Yeah, you think it would be cool when you first research it, and then you find out that Louis Witt. Yeah. Come on, just stay in secrecy, dude.
Yeah,
you're not gonna be caught. What are you?
Fucking-
Just leave it a mystery for us.
Yeah, let's make it fun. So let's go into our final theory here. It's the mob. The mob assassinated JFK.
The mob.
So 3 different mob groups actually claimed responsibility for the assassination. It was the Chicago mob, the Miami mob,
Of course.
and the New Orleans mob. Or Orleans, whatever you guys like to go by. Whatever.
What happened to the Texas mob? Why aren't they involved in this?
They don't care.
They don't care.
They're not part of it. So, as Attorney General, Robert Kennedy, he made some moves against the organized crime guys and kind of pissed them off.
Kind of a big ballsy move because these guys are
exactly. Those are.
But I mean, when you're Robert Kennedy and you're like a big guy, that's kind of your job to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you don't do it, who will? You know.
And so, other facts proving that the mob did it. Jack Ruby was a Dallas nightclub owner, and it was theorized that he had mafia connections, I'm sure. I mean, you own a nightclub during this time, you're in the mob. You know, in some way, shape, or form.
The Texas mob?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Well, New Orleans is closer to Texas than the rest of them.
So, yeah, maybe they formed together. I don't know how the mobs work, bro. So, some believed that the mob actually worked with the CIA to carry out the hit. Kind of CIA's fall guy, if you will. You know,
cooperation.
Yeah. So
teamwork makes the dream work.
This is big. In 2015, former imprisoned mafia hitman James Files, this guy James Files here,
Jamie boy,
he claimed, bold take here, he was the second shooter. He's like, hey, I'm the second shooter. It sounds like a guy trying to... I mean, he's a hitman.
In 2015, man, you're going to wait this long to tell us that you're the second shooter? For what?
He said that he was a part of a plot between the Mafia and the CIA, and that they wanted him to be the second shooter to ensure the kill, and that Lee Harvey Oswald was working with it. You know, the whole thing. Don't believe this guy. James Files, please don't shoot me because you are an actual hitman, but you weren't the second shooter, bro. Just come on.
We'll have the Umbrella Man protect us.
Yeah, that's
we'll
true.
Hire him.
We hooked him up. And
hopefully he's still alive.
Here's some fascinating stuff in my research. JFK had connections with Sam Gianni, the head of the Chicago mob.
That's a big guy.
That's a big guy.
The Chicago mob is huge.
Yeah, to have a connection with. And so JFK's father, Joseph Kennedy, supposedly worked with Giansana. I don't know. I'm not an Italian last name professional. Sorry.
You're not?
But it's rumored that they worked in the bootlegging industry together in the Prohibition. So that's a good gig. That's pretty fascinating. And it's actually rumored that they helped JFK win the 1968 election. So
believe it.
There's a lot of
JFK and the mob go hand in hand.
Right. His dad was the Kennedys in general.
His dad
with the mob.
A huge mobster.
Exactly. And so here's a good little point here. JFK and Gianna Sana, whatever his name is, they shared a mistress together. So
kind of like Earl Thomas and his brother.
Yeah, kind of exactly like that. But it was these were at different times, and it was Judith Campbell Exner. That's it. You know, they just had sex with the same chick. So
what about what was the earlier girl, Brown?
Madeline Brown.
Madeline Brown. What happened to her?
And she wasn't good enough.
Do you think she knows about this girl?
She wasn't good enough.
She just makes up stories in her.
So
acid trips.
In 1975, the mob guy, he was testifying. Sam Giansani. He was supposed to testify about his role in some CIA assassination plot, and guess what happened to him? Got assassinated.
You know, that kind of happens when you're in the mob. You just get assassinated.
Yeah, you're going to get killed. And especially if you're going to testify against the CIA and shit, like, you're going to die.
Listen,
like,
if you're in some shady shit, and if you get caught, and then you're going to testify, just expect to get killed.
Yeah, just expect it. Yeah, exactly. And so that's pretty much the end of that connection. It's just those just seem like a bunch of coincidences, you know. JFK and this guy had sex with the same chick.
Yeah.
Oh, he must have killed him. You know, like, come on. That's a lot of this stuff's far-fetched. But I did see that in 1973, LBJ admitted to The Atlantic. He said, in quotes here, "I never believed that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone, although I can accept that he pulled the trigger."
That's an interesting point.
That was pretty fascinating.
You want to hear some fun little facts about Abraham Lincoln and JFK here? Just to end it off here.
Yeah, let's end it.
So I'm just gonna fire them off here. You know, you let me know which ones really strike you.
Okay.
So Abraham Lincoln, he was elected to Congress in 1846. All right.
Okay.
John F Kennedy, he was elected to Congress in 1946.
Okay,
that's interesting.
That's
it's all right.
Small coincidence, yeah.
Yeah. So Abraham Lincoln, he was elected president in 1860.
Okay.
John F Kennedy was elected president in 1960.
Okay. So that's
the Tippecanoe, if you never heard of it. Where it's every 20 years a president is something bad happens to him.
That's a potential episode right there.
That's a potential episode.
Maybe a Patreon episode.
So the names Lincoln and Kennedy each contain 7 letters. That's all right.
That's far-fetched, yeah, whatever.
Both were particularly concerned with civil rights. I'm sorry. I mean,
that's
kind of your job.
I mean, that's always kind of been a thing throughout history.
You know, here's something weird. Both their wives lost children while living in the White House.
Yeah,
it was kind of back in the day.
I'm sure
Lincoln, you kind of assume, but
right.
But JFK, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Both presidents were shot on a Friday.
Okay, so it was a Friday.
A Friday.
That's whatever.
Both were shot in the head.
Okay.
I was shot in the head on a Friday. So Lincoln's secretary, how about this? Lincoln's secretary, Kennedy, warned him not to go to the theater.
Oh.
You know, because it was, it was getting crazy out there. The Civil War was happening, or it was ending. And so Kennedy's secretary, Lincoln, warned him not to go to Dallas.
Wow.
Now that's crazy because it's like a flippity floppity.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool.
That's a little name flop.
Yeah, and so they both were assassinated by Southerners.
Okay, well, he was in the South, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he'd be more like a communist. Doesn't really.
Yeah, I mean, he lived in Dallas, I guess.
But both were succeeded by Southerners. Andrew Johnson and Lyndon B. Johnson both were succeeded by Johnsons. Speaking of the Johnsons, Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808.
Okay.
Lyndon B. Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908.
That's a coincidence.
So they were both. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
John Wilkes Booth, he was born in 1839.
Okay, here we go.
Lee Harvey Oswald, he was born in 1939.
Wow. Okay, now these years
are really linking up here. Both assassins were known by their three names, which is, I mean, it's kind of interesting a little bit, but both assassins' names are comprised of 15 letters in total.
Okay, yeah,
that's it's all right.
People can count.
Yeah. So Booth ran from the theater, which he shot Lincoln, and was caught in a warehouse. Mm-hmm. And Oswald, he ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater.
That's fancy.
That's fancy. It's kind of crazy. And so Booth and Oswald were both assassinated before their trials. That's kind of interesting. And that's all I got from here.
That's a lot of coincidences. That is a lot.
It is a lot of coincidences that kind of just go together, and like they're not the only two presidents who've been assassinated.
Right.
But I mean, they're the two biggest.
Right. I think what's fascinating,
because they were kind of publicly assassanated more than just like at a speech were shot or attempted assassination or anything like that.
I think so. If we go with like the CIA, or let's even just go with Lee Harvey Oswald, do you think they planned it out? They're like, all right. So
he's like, yes, I was born in 1839 or 1939.
I'm going to fucking shoot him because I was born in this year,
Maybe.
It's just a bunch of... Maybe it's just proving that we're living in a simulation.
Maybe.
Which, that's an episode for another day.
Or is it?
Maybe
is this even real?
Are we in a simulation?
Wake up. Wake up, please.
Please just wake up.
Please. Yeah. Yeah, that was the Kennedy assassination. So that's a big one. It's a mainstream one.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. This was fun to research.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot to it. That's
mind blowing for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
No. Yeah, for sure. No pun intended, of course.
No way.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for listening. Always, we're slowly but surely improving every episode. Catch us every Thursday and Sunday. We're releasing new content, video, YouTube, everything. Like Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. Listen to us. I mean, you're listening to us obviously right now.
Yeah, but that's true.
Maybe if you're a Spotify guy, maybe listen to us on YouTube.
Spotify guy.
If you're a YouTube guy or girl, maybe listen to us on Apple Podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
Mix it up. 1 week.
You.
But just leave comments. Give us feedback. DM us. We're very responsive. We're very quick and responsive. So just let us know, guys. We love your feedback and everything. And we're having a fun time doing this. So.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So more content is definitely coming, guys. So thank you. On that note.
Catch you on the flip side,
Flip that coin. Let's see if it lands on head blowing up or tails.
JFK survives another day.
He survives another day. Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.
Thank you for listening to The World Within.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do.
Join our Patreon, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and catch us next week. Thank you.